Hey everybody. Earlier I went on my Instagram and promised that I would bring you some information about swelling on an airplane, and I thought I was going to have someone to video so I could actually demonstrate what I'm talking about, but that didn't work out. So I'm going to explain it to you. So I didn't really experience a lot of swelling on an airplane until about 5 years ago, coincidentally the year I got married. I would like to blame stress. But I read a bunch of stuff on the internet about like how to prevent it, and then I realized that it was really insufficient for me. It wasn't working. So here's what I got. Number one, very simple. Stay hydrated. So when you're on an airplane, I have read that the air pressure is supposed to simulate about 8,000 feet of elevation, which obviously are much higher than that. So that's better than it would be if you were at pressure at like 32,000 feet. But at 8,000 feet, your body is going to go through water quicker. So you're actually more likely to be dehydrated. And then, of course, if your flight is more than 3 or 4 hours, a lot of times people are like, oh, I don't want to get up and disturb other people on the plane. Like if you're sharing a row, God knows that you're like all up on each other. So staying hydrated is a really important one. Now, the thing about that is if you're going to drink your water, you need to make sure that the water stays in your body instead of just like going through. Like, I don't know, if you're stressed, it's hard to stay hydrated. So, staying hydrated is number one. Water is always my preferred method. If you need to have something like a Powerade or a Gatorade, I'm not a big fan of those at all, but emergencies are emergencies. I do prefer Body Armors because they're a little bit better for you. Even Noon tablets, which are much easier to take through TSA because they're a tablet that's dry, you drop it in water, it fizzes, all that fun stuff. For that one, make sure that you're buying caffeine free if you do decide to buy a Noon tablet. So that's like the big part, right? Like that's something you can do before you get on the plane to make sure that you're setting yourself up for success. Now, when I went to go get on an airplane before, I've been told, oh, wear compression socks. Did nothing. I was told, do calf raises. So you like sit on your chair and you like have your feet underneath you and you go up on your toes and you bring your heels down. You go up on your toes and you bring your heels down. That did nothing for me. But I've found an exercise that is delightful, and it worked. My husband might argue that it didn't work as well, but my whole thing is I would get off when I went to Mexico to get married, my ankles were huge, and I think that stress was a huge component with that, but nonetheless I did those calf raises. It didn't do anything. So I read and I did some research, and if you think about it, the lymph and blood and all the fluid in your feet has to come up. And the way it comes up is your gastrocnemius and your soleus, which is basically your calf muscles, contract and sort of send the fluid back up. That's all well and good, except for you have like a whole thigh that's also being compressed that you need to have access to move as well. So here is my favorite exercise for this. So if you're sitting on a plane, I want you to pretend like you have gum on the bottom of your shoe and you're trying to scrape the gum off of your shoe. On an airplane, obviously I hope you're leaving your shoes on. You do you, but I think that's a better option. What you do is you just press down with your foot and you slowly drag your foot towards you. What that's going to do is that's going to activate your hamstring, and it's also allowing that fluid buildup to return as well. Obviously, getting up to walk every once in a while. If you're on a 3-hour flight, plan on getting up. Less than 3-hour flight, plan on getting up once. If you're on a 5-hour flight or more, plan on getting multiple times. Staying hydrated, drinking your juice or water, electrolytes on the plane are great, and that exercise is a great thing to get done as well. If you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully no one is having to travel right now due to the coronavirus, but if you do, those would be my recommendations. Take care, guys.